Hello and welcome to the IGN UK Podcast. This week has been E3 and, well, we've not been there, have we, Rich?
No, we've been stuck in the UK.
Emotionally, though, we've been there.
Have we? Well, all I've done is look at it from afar going, that looks quite good, I wish I could play it.
Yeah.
That looks quite good, I wish I could play it.
Pretty much.
But we've probably seen more than Luke, Krupa and Gav, I forgot the name of our Henry Welshman.
The Welsh one, yeah.
Who are all over there at the minute playing all the kind of cool games. But what we have done is put together our list of probably the best stuff that we've seen at this week's E3. And Rich, you're going to go first.
I'm going to kick off with a controversial choice.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got it written down here. It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Of all the games that were shown at this year's, probably one of the best E3s
it was awesome.
of recent times.
It really was.
And you picked Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Yeah, this is very much a nostalgic piece for me.
Okay.
Because Tony Hawk's was a massive part of my childhood. And
Not literally, like the skater used to live in your spare room or something like that.
In fact, I used to skate and I fell off my skateboard once and I just stuck to the games from there. But
How bad was the injury?
Oh, it wasn't at all. I don't know, slightly concussed. I'm not sure.
Whoa.
Did you land on your head?
That's quite bad.
Yeah, I hit my head.
Were you not wearing a helmet?
No.
Well, there you go.
I broke...
I need to wear a helmet.
well, I didn't break. I fractured my tailbone skateboarding, which is
sounds
the most
painful.
embarrassing
Your
thing
coccyx.
to break. My coccyx, yeah,
Ooh.
totally done. Because you look like you've pooped yourself every time you walk.
Oh,
like,
man.
and you like if you have to go to the toilet, you have to like slowly back. It takes like 5 minutes to sit down in any seat. It was really, really bad. Yeah,
got one of those
it
little
wasn't
air
like
cushions
it wasn't
for
like
it.
go to school and you're like, yeah, broke my arm skateboarding, no big deal. I'm
Yeah.
the guy that's like duck waddling down the halls like an idiot.
You look like a skater.
I skated for 6 years.
Right.
I had like that's what we did every day because there's not a lot to do
Professionally?
in Northern Ireland. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So we would just wake up in the morning and go out skateboarding like every day.
And why did you stop?
Grew up, got a job, Alex.
What about Tony Hawk?
Gotta pay the rent.
He's
Yeah,
out
have you
there.
seen Tony Hawk? He still looks exactly the same as
Yeah,
he did
I know,
10
right?
years ago.
He's about
Maybe I'm
what?
doing
Is
it
he
wrong.
84 now? I
I think he's close to 90. Yeah.
He's still doing 720s.
Maybe that's what I'm
Come
doing.
on, Rory.
900s.
900s. Yeah, he did it
That's what he's
900.
famous
Okay.
for.
Which
X
game
Games.
was it that you was it Tony Hawk's Pro Skater
Yes.
2?
So it was
the
all of-
greatest
it-
of all of the Tony
Yeah,
Hawks.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2
Controversial,
was
but-
obviously like probably my
Hangar, School,
favorite.
the greatest.
Yeah, exactly. School was the best level ever created.
So good.
But
Did you kickflip TC's roof gap? No, heel flip? Kickflip
Kickflip.
TC's roof gap.
yeah, of course you do.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
What does that even mean?
you
It's-
unlock.
you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
That's right, isn't it? You unlock the secret part of it.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
go to the gym, I think it is.
That's it.
Something
Yeah,
like
with the
that.
balls.
Yeah. Oh, God,
Anyway,
Sorry
so,
again. Way too wound up.
Yeah, so Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 looks good because you get those levels in there as well. You get the warehouse and you get the school. That's pretty much what we know already. He says there's going to be some new levels in there too, but we're going to go back to some old ones.
Yeah.
We're going to get...
Oh, there's some new stuff in the game. Well, that's very big of him. I'm
I
so
know.
pleased for that.
Yeah. The controls are a bit different though,
Right.
which I'm not sure I'm too pleased with.
Well, I mean,
so
part of the Tony Hawk series is that it's so over-exaggerated compared to like Skate, for example,
Yeah.
where it's very rigorously, flick up and down, very mimicking what you would actually do on a skateboard. But Tony Hawk's is like press triangle and you're stuck on this rail and you just have to it's
Yeah,
pretty
But
eccentric.
that's what you know, and like if you're going to pick up a Tony Hawk's game now, that's how you would try and play
Yeah.
it. But now, like for example, if you press triangle now, you're going to slam down instead of jump onto a rail. So
Yeah.
that's meant to be so that you don't overshoot objects. So I guess when you're doing transfers and stuff like
There's
that.
a slam down.
Yeah, it's called Slam Down. So Kamali wrote up a whole piece online about it, and he said you're using R2 and L2 as well, almost like a racing game. So you're using R2 to push off, so
Right.
acceleration,
Yeah.
and L2 to brake, and that's never really been a thing before.
But I wonder if that's because there are a lot of people out there who've not played a Tony Hawk's game. Because, Ride came out. I don't think anybody bought Ride, did they?
No.
And maybe they're just trying to appeal to a new audience. I don't know. There might be
Maybe.
like setup controls in there where you can make it kind of classic
Yeah,
Tony
Yeah.
Hawk
I imagine
controls
there
or
would
something.
be. But because they brought out Tony Hawk's, I think it was HD, and it was just
Yeah.
looking back at the old levels.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
And that was awful because the physics was all off.
Right.
So it was nothing like playing like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, 3, 4
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything like that. So
At least we can find solace in the fact that the soundtrack will most definitely be amazing,
yeah,
as it is in all those games.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So many of the songs I used to listen to when I was a kid came from playing Tony Hawk's. Loved them.
Like,
yeah.
we are talking about your games, but just to cut in,
Yes.
Final Fantasy VII, obviously one of the big announcements.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the reason you're excited for that is because you were a fan of it originally, or?
No, the exact opposite. I've kind of dipped in and out of the Final Fantasy franchise. I've only played a couple of the games, and I think the importance for 7 for me is that I was someone who kind of didn't get the chance to play 7 originally, and I mean I've heard so much hype about it, but the hassle you would have to go through to actually go back and play the game now would be just unbearable for what you would actually get out of it. So I think this is a chance to, because I know a lot of the Final Fantasy games recently have gotten a bit of flack, maybe, you know, compared to some of the older titles in the franchise. So this is a good opportunity to kind of relaunch this pivotal game in the franchise and get people who maybe missed that opportunity an easy way to play it now. Which is me. You know, I'm very, very excited because I've heard a lot about the game. You know, a lot of people online very, very enthusiastic about it, and hopefully I'll feel the same way.
What I find kind of weird about this kind of thing, and it was the same with Ocarina of Time, the 3DS remake, is that to someone like me who loved the original game, I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Oh yeah.
But Dan
Greatest game of all
Kilby
time.
had never played Ocarina of Time, came into it and really didn't like it. And I wonder if that's going to be the case here, is that, you know, that game has been built up for years. You know, it's topped so many kind of best game ever lists. Will it actually deliver?
I think the most important thing we need to address here is Dan Kilby didn't like Ocarina of Time. That's awful. He needs to leave right now. Well, that's unbelievable.
Thankfully, he's not part of the editorial team, so it doesn't really matter what he thinks.
Well, I think it's a little bit different in this case because this feels like much more of a remake. I know Ocarina of Time, there were graphical upgrades. It's 3D, obviously. That's a nice big change. But I
think his problem was the kind of the obtuseness of some of the puzzles.
Yeah.
Which it is true. Like there's
it's a bit dated. That's
weird stuff, and they kind of try to make that easier with the hint stones or whatever they were called,
which is garbage.
Yeah.
Who needs that?
But like, if you found Ocarina obtuse, then try Majora's Mask, because that's really obtuse at times. But that's part of the fun. Is like, you know, figuring out when you complete it, there is a sense of achievement rather than everything being spoon-fed to you.
Have you ever tried the Master Quest? Which is
No.
Oh,
I did on the first time around. I didn't try it more recently.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So incredibly difficult. It took me weeks to get past the Deku Tree. And then at that point, I was like, I just can't do this. I don't have time. Yeah. It's absolutely insane. But hopefully, I think in this case, with Final Fantasy VII, there's more of a difference between the games. Because if you look at the original game, it's so old. It is very old. Yeah. And from what we saw from the gameplay trailers, it looks really impressive. Yeah. So hopefully it's not just a graphical improvement, it's more of a adaptation of the original, keeping the same story, same characters, but maybe adapted to a more modern audience.
That's dangerous though. If
it
you
is
change
dangerous.
it too much, that is going to really annoy a lot of people.
But people want it so bad. I feel like, I'd like to hope that they're going to love what they get just because of the fact that they're getting it again and it's the same story and characters. Yeah. But also, you know, the internet, if it's anything different, they might just riot.
The internet hates most things.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. Hey. Your next pick.
My next pick is actually Nintendo. So it is Mario Maker.
Yes.
Which looks really cool.
It does.
I think. Create your own Mario levels and play them and share them and download other people's and have fun with Mario. Back to the way it was platformer style.
So is it kind of like Nintendo's take on Little Big Planet?
I guess so, yeah. But that appeals more to me because I've never really got on with Little Big Planet.
Oh my god, that game's amazing.
Really? See, I love the aesthetic of it. But my biggest problem, and we'll maybe see this, I'm not a level designer. And most of the people that play this game are not level designers. Yeah. Whereas the people who make Mario Galaxy, they make levels for a living. So their levels are amazing. Yeah. Because
and
that's what they do.
For months and months
exactly.
and months.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't know, I might be wrong. I want somebody else to make my levels. That's why I buy a game.
But I think you're going to be in a position where there are people out there who are like so hardcore with that stuff that they're just as good as the original levels.
I guess like with Trials, when we were playing that a lot, and there was a lot of multiplayer levels, but there was probably 1% were good levels. And you have to wade through an awful lot of shit to get to that 1%.
Like speaking from experience with Little Big Planet, the system's basically set up in a way that you can filter. So it's very easy to just go online and say, top rated levels in the last month, top rated levels of all time. And that way, you're not just filtering through all the garbage till you find a hidden gem. It's very much like, hit it. These are all the best levels that everyone's made and everyone agrees are. But really
who's trawling through those levels though? Because surely if those are like the top 10 of the month, top 10 of the year or whatever.
Yeah.
How are you ever going to get the new ones in there?
You just don't play for a week and then wait till everyone else has told you what's good.
Right.
That's basically what it is.
Let everybody else do the hard work.
Let everyone else do the hard
Classic
work. Come in and reap the rewards. Exactly.
The thing I like about Mario Maker though as well is you've got kind of like a feature in there where you can just put objects which don't exist in that situation.
Did you see the Goombas underwater?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So you can take Goombas and you can put them underwater and then they change the way they move, so they kind of swim like shrimp.
They don't die.
Instead. I think you can still kill them.
Oh no, but they don't die because they can't breathe underwater.
They look like they're dead. They're just kind of like floating elegantly in the water, just circling around. They said he was when they were talking about it in the Nintendo presentation, they were like, when you put the Goombas underwater, they swim like shrimp, and then it showed it, and they were just like floating there, and I was like, a dead shrimp maybe. It's like they're not moving at all.
I wouldn't have said shrimp are particularly good swimmers though. They're good at existing underwater.
How do shrimp swim?
Well, they
don't have.
No, they do. They kind of
like this.
They do kind of just
tail.
float.
They've got a tail, right?
But it's at their back, so if they flipped, they would just do circles, like pinwheel.
I don't know. Maybe
think of a dolphin.
What?
But they have flippers.
Because obviously we're thinking that they're always curled up.
Oh, are they not curled?
I don't know. No, they can't be because they've got little legs.
Because you get the sweets.
Oh, they open up.
The sweets.
Foam sweets.
Brilliant.
Foam shrimp sweets. Think of that.
Oh, yeah.
And then that is...
See, I'm literally thinking of just a shrimp that I would eat, but if I throw it in a puddle, that's what I'm thinking of, a little cooked shrimp.
Right.
So well, I'm assuming that's not what it's like in real life. So. That's dead.
Yeah. And you've also got a mystery mushroom, which can turn you into any kind of Nintendo character. Which seems quite cool.
Yeah, random. See that?
So you can go through Mario levels playing as the Wii Fit trainer.
That's really cool.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Why?
Who doesn't love the Wii Fit trainer?
Yeah. She's hot.
The iconic character of the Nintendo series.
It's the same with the Amiibo. Like when people went, I've got to get the Wii Fit trainer for the Amiibo. It's like, really? There are all these amazing Nintendo characters. I wouldn't have put that one up there.
Do you think
how big is the Wii Fit trainer Amiibo? Is it the same size as?
Yeah, maybe a little taller.
Yeah.
Because did you see the Mario one that they've kind of announced for this? It's massive. It's like an 8-bit Mario Amiibo.
Oh yeah. Yes, I remember them talking about it.
Absolutely huge. And then they've brought out, they've got like a yarn Yoshi one as well.
Yeah, that looks really beautiful. Yeah. I would definitely get one of those.
That's actually made out of yarn.
Yeah, it's such a great idea.
Wool.
What's the difference?
Well, English and
American. we're in
really
in the UK.
I was saying it for Rory's benefit.
Yeah, but he's not American. He's Irish. He should say wool.
I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a difference. I thought those were two completely separate things, yarn and wool.
Well, it's called Yoshi's Woolly World or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, or I thought it was Yarn Yoshi. I don't know.
Maybe it is. Maybe cultural. It is Woolly World, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So that's Mario Maker. I think that's going to be really fun to play. My next one is No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Which looks amazing. It looks so huge. It is so huge. It's a massive sandbox that you can pretty much just do anything in. I really liked watching. It was at the Sony
conference demo.
Sony conference demo, where he came on stage and he went, and we can actually zoom out of this situation that we're in. And he was in space at the time. We can zoom out, and he's like, we can zoom out more and more and more. And it's that whole thing of like, if you actually imagine the universe is in the universe that we're in, we are such a tiny part of our solar system and our galaxy. And then he was like, look at each one of these things here. That is a sun, and each one of those has their own solar system and planets revolving around them. And it was just like absolutely huge, like incomprehensibly massive.
Yeah.
And I guess these planets are built dynamically depending on.
It's all procedural.
Yeah. It's just.
And but there must be a finite number of possibilities that you would have. I'm breaking this down for very simple layman's terms. A red planet. So therefore, I'm sure that the planet itself is completely different from the red planet next to it because of how the mountains are built or whatever it might be. But it's got to have the same rule set, i.e. the kind of atmosphere is a certain type. So therefore, the animals it can have are going to be. So
it's almost
it's going to be different,
for the planets,
but it's got like half a dozen things that it pulls from to make them feel different. I don't know.
Definitely, I really like the concept of it. Like I'm quite big on kind of space and science and that kind of thing, and I just love the way that they've actually tried to realise the universe, which is mental.
Hugely ambitious.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it, but I don't think I'll ever really kind of have the time or even the inclination to kind of... I will play it for a couple of hours and go, this is incredible, but it's too big.
At what point does a game become too much?
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that we haven't really had a problem with in the past because we've always been about expanding games, but it's something to think about in the future. Like, at what point does a game get too big and that you just feel like it's an insurmountable...
Well, if I had more time on my hands, because I used to play Elite, which is really, really old. I used to play that all the time. And, you know, space trading and upgrade and all that kind of stuff. And there's certain elements like that within No Man's Sky, as far as I'm aware. But I'm not going to do that this time around.
The one thing I was wondering, I was like, what's the end goal to this? And they said, like, the end goal is to make it to the centre of the galaxy.
Yeah.
So you do have an objection. You are trying to get there. I don't know how easy that's going to be to get there. I mean, I imagine you have to explore and build.
Yeah, you've basically got to upgrade your ship, your spacesuit. You're going to encounter hostile enemies. So, do you fight them? Do you trade with them? Or all this kind of stuff. So, it's a huge game. And I wonder what's at the centre of the universe.
That is kind of cool. Yeah, that's like a good finishing question.
It's going to be Peter Molyneux in a
little
box. Say, every at the centre of everything, there's Peter Molyneux in a little box.
What's not good about that?
And your last pick?
My last pick is not really a game, but it's the concept. And it's a concept that's been realised by Microsoft, which is HoloLens.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really kind of brave move by them. They're obviously exploring the VR market more. They partnered with Valve now. We don't really know what... So we don't really know what that's going to involve yet. But HoloLens, they did a demo of that as well. And that looks crazy. Like, you wear this headset that can project gameplay onto any wall. Or, the coolest thing, you can interact with the environment in your real world situation. So it will kind of... You'll see a holographic representation of, for example, Minecraft, which is what they showed off. You can then use your voice or fingers or gestures, whatever, to control that area that you're in, which just seemed pretty cool. Like, virtual reality, augmented reality combined. And
I'm always very kind of skeptical when I see... Because, I mean, they had a advert for it. Not now, but it was a while back when they first announced it, and they kind of like, this is the HoloLens, and it was someone kind of walking through their house and all this crazy stuff, and it's like, well, that is very cool.
It's all concept.
It's all concept. These are all visual effects. This is not the hardware itself doing it. It seems quite difficult and quite a niche thing. I mean, are people just going to have bare walls in their house in the future? Where they'll like...
No wallpaper.
or you, like, your friends come over and they all bring their HoloLenses and you just stare at a wall. Is that going to be...
I think at some point, because going back to that demo, not the demo you're talking about, is, you've got your to-do list on the fridge, but it's all beamed on there or whatever. It's not actually there. But you are right. Like, do you end up having a blank canvas for a living space? I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, I guess.
But, like, the other thing that I find weird is that, because they have partnered with Oculus, but then you've got HoloLens, and it's kind of, which one are you supporting? Or are you trying to support both? Or I don't really know.
I don't know. I guess I think HoloLens is going to be... This is like very much concept of what it is at the moment. I think it's going to progress so much in the future. It's going to be a few years before it's actually anything really. Whereas Oculus is obviously already founded
it'll be out next
built.
year.
What if they release an Oculus? So it's kind of, you have your headset on, and then the screens, motion cap, whatever it is, and then maybe you could flick a switch, and the screens will go back, and it'll become like a HoloLens. So it's like glass panels, or maybe it's or is it a camera on front? Is that how it works? And then it films it and puts it on the screens in front of you. Is that the idea?
What, for HoloLens?
For HoloLens. Because I mean, if they're working together,
they haven't
you could
actually explained really
merge
how it works.
But like, there was a write-up on site because there was a demo for Halo 5.
Yeah.
That incorporated HoloLens, and whoever did it for us, I forget who it was. They said it was a kind of glimpse into the future. So not quite there yet, but like that's got huge potential. And I'm probably more interested in the idea of, rather than because my big problem with VR is it's so inclusive. You're just there on your own. Whereas if it's an experience that multiple people can enjoy, then HoloLens sounds more interesting.
Yeah,
definitely
could be cool.
Yeah, it's something I'd want to look out for more, just because I just love all that kind of tech and all the future scientific stuff that we saw in the films long ago.
Overpriced, expensive tat.
It is going to be.
Yeah,
it is going to be.
Well,
but
speaking of Halo 5,
yes,
that is my first game on the list of games I was most excited about to see at E3. Being a huge Halo fan ever since 3, when I got my first Xbox, and then backtracking
the
to
worst
the
Halo
originals.
Halo 3.
What?
I think. Or am I thinking Halo 2?
Maybe 2. 3 was very good. 3 was... Well, 3 was the launch game for the Xbox 360, so that was already immensely popular, and the multiplayer was absolutely
I'm thinking
incredible.
probably Halo 2. Halo 2 came out around the same time as San Andreas.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking Halo 2.
Yeah. 3 was later than that.
Halo 1 though. that was the daddy.
The bee's knees.
Yeah.
Absolutely was. Well, 4 was good. Halo 4 was good.
Never actually got around to playing it.
Online multiplayer was pretty decent. The story was very great, very emotional.
ODST was completely overrated, in my opinion.
I don't really remember ODST. I remember Reach, because that was the first one where you got the backpacks, all the set backpacks, which were kind of a cool idea, and you see more people doing it now, with all the exosuits and things like that. Yeah. But from what I saw, Halo 5, narrative seems pretty interesting. You got Master Chief, you got Locke.
4-player kind of drop-in co-op.
Yeah.
That looked kind of cool. Like,
absolutely.
like the team of 4 Spartans who are hunting or tracking Master Chief.
Yeah.
Is he good? Is he bad? He's got to be good.
Of course he's... Well, I think it'll be...
If he's bad, the whole of the internet will implode.
Yeah. It's going to be a misunderstanding, I think.
Of course.
And then it'll be resolved, and then they'll have to put aside their differences, and they'll learn that the true treasure is friendship. That's
the most optimistic thing I've heard. Like, pure power.
Who else would?
And then they'll work together to find a little box at the center of the universe within which is Peter Molyneux.
So I'm really, really looking forward to that.
That'd be the most amazing thing. Like the end to every game is that.
Like a portal when you shoot up in space,
yeah,
and then you come out on the moon, and then he's just floating by as well.
And you just have to tap the last box, unfolds, and there he is sat there,
naked.
Maybe
that's DLC. Actually, you got to pay for that.
That's what HoloLens does. It interprets how you want Peter Molyneux to look.
That's all I'm going to be seeing. Then.
You'll get it naked. Yeah, I definitely won't. Next up is Battlefront.
Oh.
I know. I think we were all a little bit nervous. I mean, we've seen very small glimpses of the game. We've seen some cinematic trailers, but this was the first time actually being put inside what seemed like a full battle on Hoth.
Did you see the other level on? I think it's pronounced Jakar. It's basically one of the planets that's going to be on in the new movie. But that's because that was the Hoth one was from EA.
Yeah,
their conference.
Was it DICE one?
There was a different one from PlayStation conference.
Oh, PlayStation. Oh, okay.
You should check that out as well. So one is obviously
seen the Hoth one,
which looks amazing. The other one is kind of a sort of desert style planet.
Okay, we're pretty different.
Yeah,
temperature wise.
Yes.
From what I saw, I absolutely loved it. I think they did a fantastic job of making you feel like you are a small part of this much larger battle. And I mean, it may be things that never really affect you directly. So, for example, you're kind of running through the snowy fields, and you have what are those dome cannons called? The huge...
I think they're iron cannons, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, shooting up at Star Destroyers.
They're the iron cannons that clear the Star Destroyers to let the blockade runners out.
And whether or not that actually affects your battle at all, just running by and seeing these blasted up, and you can look up and see Star Destroyers coming down. You've got A-wings, you've got X-wings flying across the sky, stormtroopers, rebels.
Snow speeders.
Snow speeders. Yeah. Speeders. And then flying by, doing the cable ties around the AT-ATs, just the whole thing. It really felt like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it really felt like something that while I was watching it, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, just drop me in. I want to go. I want to be a part of this. I was really, really happy about it. Have
you played Star Wars Battle Pod, either of you? The arcade game that has just came out, and we did something on Rebel Base about it.
No, I haven't.
Because anyway, that's spectacular. But obviously, you're kind of pretty much dragged around on rails, and you're kind of, it's like an old school arcade game. The thing I loved about Battlefront is that you've got that level of spectacle, but you're in complete control of the snowspeeder, and there's an AT-AT. Right, let's go and take this AT-AT down. That's like...
Yeah.
The battle pod's like super fast, isn't it?
It's an old school arcade racer. The whole level is done in 3 minutes.
So is Battlefront going to be kind of like match that speed?
But it's different. It's like, this is more about, as Rory said, it's a kind of, you're a tiny little pawn in this massive battle.
Yeah.
And I guess that, it's going to feel like a battlefield game.
Yeah.
And maybe you won't get the full size and scale of it because you'll be fighting this tiny little part of the battle and there's all this other stuff going on around here. I don't know.
And it'll probably be small objectives like take this it'll be typical FPS objectives, probably domination, capture the flag, that kind of stuff, but in the Star Wars universe.
But the fact that you can like climb in a ATST or
even
control an AT-AT to some level. It didn't look like you actually kind of pilot it and tell it where to walk.
They're quite slow anyway. You would have had to stay on that AT-AT for about 5 minutes to see if you could control.
But you just kind of sit there and go, right, I'm just going to shoot the crap out of everything.
I guess, if you can control the guns, that's good. But you don't want to hop on it and be like, I'm coming, guys! Run. It wouldn't be the most riveting gameplay footage.
I'd do that.
You would be the one guy,
yes.
And everyone would just be like, get out of the AT-AT! But of course, the best part of that whole trailer was right at the end, where you got a glimpse of playing as Luke Skywalker, which is incredible because I know, playing as the heroes was a large part of Battlefront 2, and I think they handled it really well in that game. Some people are a little bit cautious of how they're going to handle the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because obviously the whole idea of lightsabers, it's a one-hit kill. But how can you kind of replicate that in a team-based fight? Is it going to be that case? If you just get hit with a lightsaber, you're dead?
It's going to be quick.
If there's a lightsaber battle, is it just going to be...
It should be, though.
Slashing, or is it going to be a much more...
See, that's the kind of... I think...
Beautiful thing.
If you were, I don't know, a snowtrooper, and I'm running towards you as Luke Skywalker, if I hit you with my lightsaber, you should be dead.
Yeah.
That's the same with most melee kills anyway.
I guess, knifing and things like that.
If you're going to have the balls to get up close, then it should be one-hit kills. But I think the deeper thing is, like, if you are battling another hero, how does that play out? I don't know.
Because it would be quite anticlimactic if, Luke's running towards Darth Vader, it's all building up, and then you're just like trying to tap button bash and just smack each other like this. It would be like, imagine in the films if they meet on the Death Star and then they're just like trying to hit each other in the head.
It can't be a particularly sophisticated combat system for like.
Well, some people were speculating it could be like a QuickTime actions, but I'm not sure how can QuickTime play into people battling around you, because then someone could come in and interfere, and you're trying to.
But it's like, because obviously part of the lightsaber stuff is blocking laser blasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Surely that's just going to be a button press, and you run around and hold it.
I guess, or maybe
because otherwise. You're a Jedi, for God's sake. You should be able to block pretty much everything. It's only when you're fighting somebody else that you're like, right, I'm open to attack.
Well, that's kind of the problem that you face here, is because in the Star Wars universe, a Jedi could kill 100 stormtroopers. Yeah. You can't really have that in the game, because as soon as someone would unlock the hero, they would just obliterate everyone. But
I thought the hero was kind of like a perk or a level upgrade. Like you have to kind of build up.
Presumably you would.
And so I don't know whether it times out, and so you only play it for a certain amount of time, or. At the same time, if you're controlling the AT-AT and you fire at Luke Skywalker, he's going to be dead.
Yeah.
See? Don't abandon the AT-AT.
Yeah. Alex saves the day, everyone's dead, and he comes just crawling in on the
Luke Skywalker. A little note, he's coming up underneath and just slashing my underbelly. But it does look good.
It looks really, really good.
Very exciting.
My next one was Final Fantasy, which we already kind of talked about. Yeah. Just as I said, very excited to finally get a chance to play the game. Next one is Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. So, obviously, I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. It's my favorite game of all time. Obviously, which we'll get into a little bit later about not getting to see the Wii U footage. Yeah. They had some Zelda announcements, which was this game, and also Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors, thank you. Yeah. Totally blank-minded there. It's coming to 3DS, which I absolutely love. But this one, I think, looks really cool. I'm surprisingly up for this. When I was growing up as a kid, I had A Link to the Past on my Game Boy Advance, which actually came with a copy of Four Swords, which was, I think this is more of an advanced version of Four Swords. I never got to play Four Swords because I didn't have 4 friends who had the game, and I didn't have Game Boy Link cables.
Yeah. Oh, man,
this is how primitive this was.
Yeah.
You literally needed 4 friends with the game, and you would all link up by wire your consoles. So I just never got a chance to play the game, even though I had it.
Yeah.
Which was sad for me as a kid because I had it and I love Zelda so much and I wanted to. So I'm really excited. Hopefully they'll kind of embrace the future with this, and maybe even online wireless play. Maybe like you could join lobbies of people and things like that, or play through your friends, through just local.
So what you're saying is you still don't have 3 other friends. So you just want to open up to the internet just so they can be your buddy.
Because then I'm gonna play Triforce Heroes with me.
You only need 2
I'll play
friends.
with you.
Oh really? Is it?
Well, it's you and 2 others, isn't it?
3.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah.
It's 2 this time. Yeah.
Well, I'll play with you.
You'll play with me?
You need one other friend.
Okay, one other. I'm not gonna find one.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
But it looks cool. It's very, very Zelda. After
Well up for a new Zelda game.
absolutely, and after A Link Between Worlds, which is kind of looks like similar style, top down, kind of cartoony, which was a fantastic game. I absolutely loved it. Very excited to play something of a similar style, but with more links.
Yeah.
You can never have enough links.
Never enough.
Throw them all in there.
So what about if because you can play on your own, can't you, as well? And they said that they're just going to be like dolls playing with you. What did they say about that? Can you remember?
Well, you can. There's an elements of signaling, so you can say like, go here, do this. So maybe that'll be part of it. You can kind of
Maybe it'll be like Lost
tell people
Vikings.
what to do.
Did you ever play Lost Vikings?
Never played Lost Vikings.
That was a game and a half.
Did you tell Vikings what to do?
No, but you controlled 3 different Vikings and you switched between them. It's
Okay.
kind of like GTA 5, but in the early days. But they had very specific roles. Like one of them was fast and could jump. One of them was slow but could lift heavy things.
Okay.
I forget their specifics. But all the levels.
One of them had a
the
great
idea-
personality.
Exactly, yes. But you had to work for them together to get through that level.
And then one actual last game that I forgot to put on this list, we'll go quick, was Firewatch.
Oh, yeah.
I am so excited for this game. I hadn't really heard a lot about it, and as soon as I saw it was our IGN first, right? For 1 month, and I remember we had the first 10 minutes of the game, and I was like, I'll just check it out, see what it was, and immediately like the artwork, the design really grabs you, and then just watching someone play and hearing the character dialogue. Incredible. I am totally roped in. I cannot wait to play this game.
Apart from the fact you don't have a PS4.
Apart from the fact that I don't have a PS4. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll stay after work and use the one at the office.
Sorry, that one's busy.
Oh, is it?
Can't use that one. Sorry.
Damn it. They'll bring out an Xbox version.
I'm sure they will
Sure
at
they
some
will.
point.
Yeah.
It just looks so cool. It looks really, really cool. I love those kind of games that have like really interesting stories.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, just watch. I think they at E3 they announced maybe like a 1 minute 30-second trailer, and that trailer alone just completely.
It does look cool,
looks
and obviously
very, very cool.
art style was by Ollie Moss, friend of the show.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, for it's great that we're seeing it a bit more. Indie games getting more recognition at E3, and it was a lot of indie titles, and even Shenmue, which was Shenmue. Shenmue's
not an indie game.
No, but I mean, being kickstarted. I mean, it's crazy.
But we're going to talk about Shenmue in a little while.
Okay, but those are all mine. All mine. I'm very excited about them all.
Well, after goodness knows how long in the wilderness, Last Guardian was finally shown again. And I was quite cynical about this before, probably even on last week's podcast, because a game that I saw in 2007, so 8 years ago, it's like, surely can never live up to expectations.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked fantastic.
So we're gonna get gameplay in 2022.
Yes, yes, not
Release
coming out
2031.
Next century. Yes.
It did look beautiful though.
Yeah, so Luke wrote a piece up on the site, and he said he was a little bit kind of, I don't think he used the word underwhelmed, but he wasn't convinced. But I think that's the beauty of either Shadow of the Colossus or Ico, is that mechanically they're not particularly great games.
Yeah.
But they nail like emotion and atmosphere like way better than most games. And I would liken them more to kind of Journey, which you don't play because it's a great game. You play because it's a great experience.
Yeah.
And there's a few people in the comments saying this should be an animated feature instead of that. But it's
because you want to kind of play through that as well. Even though you're not doing a lot, you want to experience that story for yourself.
And the thing I loved about it is the relationship between the kid and the cat bird trico weird thing.
Cat bird rat dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
name.
The amount of kind of character that
CBRD.
they've got into those without saying a single word is amazing. And it was the same that you got for like Journey, you know, a sensation of like happiness, sorrow, all these kind of emotions coming through with nothing being said.
It's interesting, as you said. It was a short trailer, no dialogue, no backstory, but just the attention to detail and the way the characters move and interact with each other and the environment. You're really roped into the story already, and you're asking a lot of questions, and already a lot of people are excited to find out more about the game and see some gameplay.
Because I've got all of these other games that have got great like gameplay mechanics and stories and this, that and the other, but not many games do emotion very, very well. Yeah. And that's what I'm expecting from this, because Shadow of the Colossus is a really good example. Going back and playing that now, the mechanics are pretty crap. But the first time when you see the Colossus coming towards you, you're like, holy shit, I've got to take that down. Yeah. And like, you know, normally if you beat something in Dark Souls of that scale, you're like, yes, I'm amazing. But here you're like, oh, I've killed it. Oh. And that's like, you know, that's amazing to
it's
kind
like
of get
a giant
that feeling.
teddy bear.
It is a bit like a giant teddy bear, but that's why I'm excited for The Last Guardian. Yeah. And, you know, I don't think everyone's going to love it, but I think it's going to be the game that I really
It's actually really interesting. I never even thought about that. I have no remorse after boss battles. Yeah. Because it's just pitched as an enemy, and you're like, just kill the enemy. That's like your goal, and then you do it,
it's
and you get a reward.
It's a living being too, Rory.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. There's definitely...
monster.
I really hope they emphasize that.
Yeah.
I want to feel again, guys.
Is the kid gonna kill his cat dog?
Oh, but imagine if that cat dog dies.
Wait, what did I call it?
Oh my god, I will be sobbing. I will be a mess if that dies.
That was the top comment. They were like, if you kill this cat, rat, dog, bird, it's like I'm done.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's you've got to kill it. You have to. You've created this thing that everyone loves. It's like this weird, adorable, cute friendship. You have to kill it.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna die.
But
what's wrong with you?
It's gonna die.
Did you see the?
It's George R. Martin.
Did you see the first trailer for Shadow? No, what?
No, I didn't. I didn't see the.
Because that was like a kind of a big black hole with this chain going down. You heard like noises of a monster, and it was like, and then that sort of pounds out, and you're like, it's not a big bad monster. Yeah. And you know they're going to play with your emotions on it.
Definitely. It reminds me of Neverending Story. Do you remember that with the big
I do remember
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It used to make me cry.
It's called something, but I can't remember.
I can't remember what it's
called. False
called.
advertising there. That story definitely ended. Yeah. So I used to watch that as a kid, and it's one of those things that you watch it a lot, and then you don't hear anyone talk about it, and you don't remember what it was. So I just had memories of a giant fluffy.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually seen it all the way through.
I remember.
I remember
VHS,
nothing about it except for.
All I remember is.
I have to find out his name. It's gonna bug me so much if I don't find out his name.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, I've gone on a bit of a Sony tip, but Uncharted 4. In terms of pushing that action adventure genre forward, they absolutely did it with Uncharted 2, and I think that set the benchmark by which Tomb Raider and all the other kind of games have followed. But I think Uncharted 4 is doing it again. Yeah. Because the way that game kind of unfolds, and it's hard to see how much of it is not scripted, because I think that's a bit unfair, but maybe prescribed is a better way of saying it, is that you know that you've got that's going to happen then down there. Whereas Uncharted 2, you hit a point and then you slip and you fall and you've got to tap X to get back up. There's a bit of that going on, but it looks a lot more open.
It does. And like just watching the gameplay demo, I know it was an experienced player playing it, but it looked like a film. Like I would happily sit down and watch that. Yeah. Everything was just so fluid, from the cutscenes to the action. Yeah. Like, oh my god, it looks amazing. And
like the bit where they're kind of going down the hill in the Jeep, followed by the armoured car. Yeah. But the thing, like if that was an old game, I think you'd have had like one route, or maybe two, but it looked like there were loads of routes through the town.
It seemed like you could go
going off-road. Exactly, yeah.
There's nothing worse than getting in a car in a game, and then you're like, let's do it, and you press it, and you realize that your movement is limited to like 10 centimeters left and 10 centimeters right, and you're like, oh, what is the point? Just make it a quick time, because I can't do anything. So I love to see more choices for driving.
But even the fluidity of the combat, it looks like they've of course it's classic Uncharted, but it looks like they've really kind of pushed what we've kind of seen in that genre, which I'm excited
about. Every punch looked like a real punch. Yeah. Like really, like seeing the motions and like the reactions of the people, it wasn't just kind of like forward and back. It looked really, really good.
But it's true, like, you know that when we play it, you'll be like, oh dear.
I wish I had less options. You're like banging into everything.
One of the things the lead designer said, that like everything can be destroyed in it.
Yeah.
pretty much everything can be destroyed in it. And he even went down to like, he was like, oh yeah, look at this bit here where he's hiding behind the sandbags, and the rice bags or whatever are being shot at, and you got all these like little particles of rice flying out. It's like, whoa, that is harnessing the power of the PS4. Like
rice, more rice than ever before.
Watch me step on this bug.
It's like when The Last of Us came out, I was just like, whoa, look at those particles, man. It's crazy.
God, you love tech, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I'm all about emotion. You're all about tech. What are you all about?
Link, Zelda. Yeah, I had my mind blown the first time I was playing Halo 3 on Xbox 360, and they were like buckets on boxes, and I could punch them, and they would like fall off and roll on the floor.
Yeah,
and I was just blowing my mind.
Well,
they're not stuck here. Like they're
Metal Gear 2 on PS2.
Yeah.
When you're in the kind of freighter at the beginning, the ship, and you're kind of sneaking along and you get detected, and there's like watermelons and stuff like that. And you're like, they're shooting at you and the watermelons are going everywhere. It's like, oh my God, watermelons that you can blow up.
I used to love that. For GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64, there was levels where you would be going through like laboratories and things like that, and there would be the worst like object test tubes, like the most rigid shaped awful things, but you could shoot them and smash them, and I would just do that like every level. They'd be like, we need to escape, and I'd be like, well, give me a second, shooting everything. Also, for some reason in that game, all the items, if you shot them for long enough, instead of like breaking, they would explode. So if there was like a table, if you shot the table for long enough, it would like explode. And crates would explode, like everything would explode.
Like tech back there was fairly basic.
Yeah,
Rory.
I guess.
Come on.
But it explode, just make it break. Don't make it like it's a table. And Falcor was the name of the dragon from the Neverending Story. Oh. Falcor the Luck Dragon, or Lucky Dragon.
That's the dragon. So it wasn't a big dog?
It's like a dog dragon. No, I know the fluffy one.
Yeah.
I think he's a dragon. You can have fluffy dragons.
Dog dragon.
Anyway.
Imagine if the dragon in Game of Thrones was the dragon from the Neverending Story. Khaleesi, like, riding around on Falcor.
2 games left. Ubisoft's big surprise was Ghost Recon Wildlands. Anybody of you, do you see it?
Nope.
You didn't see it.
Didn't see it, sorry.
So I'm a big Ghost Recon fan. Have loved the series for a long time. But this is kind of taking what's cool about Ghost Recon. So squad of 4 guys that you play cooperatively, quite tactical based.
Yeah.
Thrown in a massive open world, kind of Far Cry 4-ish.
Cool.
And it's kind of the best of... I've criticised Ubisoft a lot for kind of merging all their games into one, but this is actually an example that I think it works really, really well.
Yeah.
So they showed off a single mission, but done 3 separate ways, maybe even 4 separate ways.
Okay.
First one was like just going in there, standard, working as a team, cooperatively, eliminating bad guys, taking the target, shooting him, getting out. Easy. Yeah. Second one was stealth, so going in under the cover of night. So much like Metal Gear Phantom Pain, where you can wait till it goes dark and then use that to your advantage.
Sneaky ninja
but
tactics.
You sneak in, take out the guy, get out. Third way was kind of ambush, so that's all guns blazing, literally bowling, people on cars. Was there a helicopter? I can't remember. Anyway, all action. But the third one, which I thought was fourth one that I thought was really smart, is that the whole idea is that you've got this drug cartel operating across the whole of where's it set? South America. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But the point being is that your target is one of the kind of the big lords, sort of smaller guys.
Right.
So what you do is in the fourth playthrough is that you go through and take away like his precious kind of cargo, coke, drugs, whatever it might be, and then the big lord finds out that he screwed up, and then he kills him for you. And it's kind of stuff like that. So you're letting
really cool.
the world and the environment take place. So, and like you in the scene, you drive off with the stuff that he wants, and he's just like, and then seconds later, all the big lords dudes drive in and do your bad
That's really
stuff
cool.
for you.
That's really, really cool.
And again, we don't really know how kind of that will unfold, but the thing I loved about Far Cry 4 was the freedom and openness to kind of complete stuff however you wanted to, like letting the wild animals do all of the stuff for you, sitting back.
Well, as I was telling you the other day, recently I just finished taking all the outposts on Far Cry, and absolutely, as you said, it's just so nice to have the freedom coming into a base. And you arrive at the base, scope it out, look for vantage points. I was playing online with my friends, so it's like, okay, you go up here with a sniper rifle, I'll go in with my throwing knives. But like first, let's throw bait and see what animals are going to come, see if they can take some out. It's really cool having that freedom to come in any way you want. And then, sometimes you do get detected and it's just all guns blazing. But you do feel like such a badass if you can do these things undetected.
So I think it will be kind of elements of that. I don't think it will be as kind of arcadey as that.
Yeah, maybe a bit more.
But 4-player co-op doing that kind of stuff.
It's really cool.
Oh. So Ghost Recon Wildlands, very excited by that.
Sounds cool.
And then lastly, similar thing, Metal Gear Phantom Pain. I've been talking about this game for ages.
Yeah.
And all I'm going to say is by the time you listen to this podcast, we will have a full 40-minute demo of the game.
Woo.
If you don't like that, you are dead inside. It is as simple as that. That game is going to rule this kind of Christmas for me.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited about it.
That's September, isn't it?
It's come out in September, yeah.
That's soon.
But honestly, like, it's everything that you would want from a Metal Gear game and more.
Have you played it?
I haven't played it. I've watched it being played.
Okay. I know some people. I think we had some people in the States.
Yeah, they did a big event. Unfortunately, I wasn't there. I've been here.
Yeah.
But
someone's got.
I kind of want to save myself now. Like Ground Zeroes was a good kind of teaser to me because that sort of demonstrated how, again, same thing, open world is that there's your objective. How you want to do it is up to you.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the same, but on a much grander scale. So
that does look cool. I need to brush up on my Metal Gear lore and backstory because I watched the trailer and it was amazing. The trailer was really cool, but I could already tell there were some things that I didn't quite get because I'm not up to date with the story. Maybe there's like an article I can read that'll just
at the same like I don't understand Metal Gear lore for goodness sakes. But you don't really need to. Well, there are certain bits that it's good to know.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of stuff that's like
irrelevant.
What?
Okay.
But yeah,
gotcha. I'll catch up.
So anyway, yes, do let us know what were your games of the show. You can email in IGN_UK feedback@IGN.com. Right, so let's move on to things that we loved this last week, apart from all the games that we saw at E3.
Yes.
Now I've been playing an awful lot of Arkham Knight, and by the time this podcast goes out, I believe the review should be live.
Should be.
So I'm going to talk spoiler free because just in case.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah. The review's pretty spoiler free, isn't it?
Yeah, but just in case our podcast goes up early before the embargo.
So
I'm not going to say what we gave it, but if you like the other Batman games, you will like this. I would probably say, I can say this, I think it's my favourite of the Rocksteady 3.
Okay.
But there is so much to it that's kind of cool and clever that you can't talk about without spoiling it, because you've got to play it for yourself to figure it out. But have you played the other two?
I haven't played. No, sorry, I played Arkham Asylum.
Yep.
Asylum. Okay,
Yep.
I played some of Asylum before, and I heard you talking about. Did you talk about it on the superhero show? Or someone?
I've spoken about Arkham Knight on the superhero show.
Yeah, I heard talking about that, which is cool hearing something about the game.
But see, because when I played that was a very brief demo, like no more than half an hour, and it was completely out of context.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't part of the beginning?
No, because basically they've kept the story completely under wraps. So that was basically a bunch of side quests thrown together to illustrate some of the gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
And so like when I played that, the Batmobile felt interesting, but like not killer. Whereas when you're playing it in the game, you've got the whole of the city opened up. It's really cool.
Yeah, I bet.
You're not on a track, are you? You can.
But that's the Riddler challenges are you race around tracks.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I meant like it's set track.
No.
Okay.
It's completely open.
Thank God.
And I was a bit concerned that it goes super fast and that it's quite a narrow city. But once you get used to the controls and your power sliding around, and when you get in it, it just does this amazing like growl as the engine starts up.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's really, really cool.
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
And you can't you drive and you upgrade everything. You kind of drive up something, skid, eject out, and then fly up, grapple along, and then it's so fluid.
Yeah.
What they did with combat back on Asylum to make that fluid, they've kind of done with all of Batman's kind of moves.
That's cool.
And the city is much more interesting. It's much bigger, and I was literally gliding around when I wasn't using the Batmobile. But because you got the Batmobile, you do tend to explore the ground level a lot more, whereas I didn't do that in Arkham City.
Yeah.
There was no reason to explore the city at ground level because you're just running, and Batman doesn't run.
No.
Yeah.
Why would he?
You look like an idiot.
But honestly, if you're not going to get that in the next couple of weeks, then you're stupid.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a long time coming, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's, I was a bit lukewarm on Arkham City. Still a great game, but not as good as Asylum. And I think this is probably a fitting finale to the 3 games.
Yes. Awesome.
Without any spoilers.
Well, my love it on the list is Elder Scrolls Online. So we recently just finished our review, which is up on site now. You can check it out. We gave it an 8.0, which is great. Great review.
Literally.
Great. Literally great. Yeah. So I was editing the video review whilst actually playing it at home as well at the same time. So this is my, believe it or not, first ever MMORPG I've ever played before. I tried starting Skyrim 4 times.
Right.
I realized I just did 5 with my hand, but we're just going to take that thumb away. 4 times, and I just couldn't get into it, unfortunately. So this was my just throw everything I've got at it. I've always wanted to try an MMO, and I've always wanted to try Elder Scrolls. I did like Oblivion. Oblivion was really good. So this was kind of like hopefully me getting back into the series. It's really fun. It is really, really fun. I'm having a great time with it. It's kind of different from the games that I'm used to playing.
Yep.
And obviously, the first time I was online on my Xbox and I was kind of running around and saw all the other people playing it, blew my mind. I don't know why it blew my mind, because I play a lot of online games.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't really play a lot of open world online games where I'm not trying to fight these people. They're literally just running around in the same universe that I am, which is really cool for me. I hadn't really had that experience before. But it's a great game. There's a lot to do, a lot of quests, a lot of different weapons, a lot of classes. It's just a big world if you've got the time to put into it.
So how much time have you invested in it?
I've only even invested about 4 hours so far. Only because I'm a very, very slow player. It takes me so long to do everything.
And there's so many other games to play as well.
Yeah, it does. Well, for example, with Elder Scrolls, like a lot of these games, there's kind of a tutorial section at the start, where they teach you to do things, and then you kind of join everyone else in the real world. And I spent so long in the tutorial section that I was like a substantial number of levels higher than everyone that was still in the tutorial one. So they're probably like, what is this level 5 still doing with all these guys? And I'm like, where do I go? Like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun. It's a really fun game. I'm having a lot of fun with it at the minute. Whether it will sustain itself is another thing. Cool. But at the minute, definitely. If you're into that sort of stuff, I'd recommend it.
So also announced at the Sony press conference was Shenmue 3 is coming back. Honestly, all PlayStation did was like fan service.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Now, I know a lot of people that are so excited for Shenmue, but I never had a Dreamcast, so I've never played it.
No, I'm exact same place you're in. Never played it. I didn't really even know a lot about the game until it was announced, and everyone was losing their mind.
Yeah.
And that's
my
when
Facebook feed was just filled with people like absolutely loving it.
But it's one of those things that I think, probably within our circle of like friends, there are people who are absolutely mad on it.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure how big it's going to be outside of that kind of sphere.
And maybe that's why Sony are part of the production, I guess, but they're not actually kind of putting their name to it, are they?
Well, they're supporting it.
Yeah.
And I believe they are investing in the production or the development of it in some way, but obviously the big part is the Kickstarter. Yeah. It hit its goal of $2 million in something crazy like 9 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. You probably wouldn't see a big company like Sony taking a risk on a game that's been dormant for so long if it wasn't that the public was going to put in $2 million into the production, or $3 million now, actually.
Yeah, it just keeps going up and up.
Unbelievable.
But I do think it's all the people that have invested in the Kickstarter, absolutely knock your socks off and enjoy it. I don't think it will go much broader than that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's hard to speculate on what the game will be when I haven't played any of the previous titles.
Yeah.
But people seem to love it, so hopefully they'll just continue that streak.
Well, we should do a straw poll. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, do let us know. Are you going to buy or play Shenmue 3, or is it just not relevant anymore? Let us know.
Cool.
So imagine if you could play Shenmue 3 on your PS. I was trying to link a backwards compatibility thing in there.
It's Dreamcast.
I know.
Neither Xbox or PS4 is not going to.
You sounded like a telesalesman, like walking in. Imagine a world where you could play Xbox 360 titles on your Xbox One.
Now, that is
rich at E3.
That's a world I want to live in.
Yeah.
Good God.
Okay, so quite exciting news. We've got backwards compatibility for the Xbox One, so you can play a lot of your 360 games on your Xbox now.
2 years too late?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Speaking as someone who has a large back catalog of Xbox 360 games, granted they are in another country, I will be gradually bringing them over here. There are a lot of titles which I still do enjoy playing that I haven't been able to play since moving on. Nazi Zombies, as established on previous podcasts. Nazi Zombies.
But you can play that on next gen.
No, you can't. They have
the trilogy.
What do you mean the trilogy?
They re-released the HD remake trilogy of it.
Did they? Of Black Ops?
Oh, Black Ops. Sorry, I thought you meant the Rebellion game.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
Black Ops, Nazi Zombies.
Right.
Huge fan of those games. Played them for a long time. And every time, it used to be when I went back to my house in Northern Ireland, all we had there was an Xbox 360. So we'd go back and we'd play all of our old games online. So now it'd be kind of nice to have it all on one system. I think at the minute they said they've only got about there's a small selection of games now, but they're adding about 100. They said about 100 a month, which is great, but it is one of those things.
I wonder how that works. Like how?
Well, this is what I thought, because initially I was kind of upset because it's like, now you're bringing in backwards compatibility, which implies that the console would have been capable of done it the whole time. But then now that they're saying that they have to do games at a time, I'm thinking there's maybe a bit more of a process to it. It's because it's more
of a software emulation thing than a hardware thing. So the lasers that read the 360 discs are not the same lasers in the Xbox One. So they need a software emulation that can run on the Xbox One, which can then play the 360, which means that...
How do you know this?
I read IGN.
Oh.
So,
yeah. I don't do that.
So,
I just look at the pictures and the pretty words.
So the game developers need to say, yes, we want this game to be on there, which means that maybe those developers who are releasing HD remakes are not going to say yes to backwards compatibility for that game.
Yeah, I understand. It does kind of throw a spanner in the works of this whole... you're getting your old games remade, because then what's the point in buying an HD remake if you could just play the original on your Xbox One?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you could see why they wouldn't do this with launch, because people aren't going to be as inclined to get the Xbox One if they're like, I can just play. Exactly, yeah.
I think it's a little bit deceptive, personally.
Well, PS4 don't have backwards compatibility.
But that's because they've got PS Now coming out.
Yeah, but
why would you do that?
But it's not.
But this is like, I'm assuming that this process of being able to play these old games isn't enough of a hassle for them to think about it too much. So it's like, we're going to do this, and it's just an extra bonus. It's like,
that's the thing. I think ultimately it's a bonus, but it's not a reason to buy a new console.
No.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother me. I would not go back and play any of the games.
Not one?
No.
One thing the PS4 did get though is a media app, which is awesome, because now you can watch films and.
But my TV does that. My smart TV does that already.
I
could
quite
you
like
not
having
watch
like
films?
Well, no, because with the PS3 you could plug a USB stick in and watch anything that may be on that USB stick.
Porn is what you're saying.
It could be.
Okay.
My PS4 is now going to be full of it. But see, I don't have a smart TV, and I quite like having like one central unit that could do everything.
Yeah.
So instead of switching up between PS4, Apple TV, Roku, I've got like one system, so I just turn my PS4 on and everything's there. Like Netflix is there, Plex is there.
Get a smart TV. That's all I'm going to say. It works. Netflix is on my smart TV.
I still think those systems are better than the smart TV brains.
Wow.
That's just me.
That's just you.
That's just me.
Again, I would say it's a bonus for buying the console, not a reason to.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's talk about the stuff that's not so hot, the shove-its, if you will. We'll rattle. Actually, I think we've already spoken about no PS4 backwards compatibility. So there's just one big thing for me, and I'm not going to talk about it too much, but Game of Thrones, I think it's lost a viewer in me.
I am so glad that you put this on the list, because I was in the exact same shoes. As soon as I saw the finale, I was like, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Which it was almost, because I have a whole group of friends who watch it, and we always like talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, felt like a taboo thing to say, because everyone was like, wow, that like season finale. And I was kind of the one person being like, I think I'm done, guys.
Yeah, I didn't get all the excitement for it. I really didn't.
I'm just getting so sick of it.
Yeah.
I just can't do.
But again, it's hard, like without revealing spoilers, but it's just not a pleasant watch anymore. I'm just kind of over.
So are you saying that I shouldn't start watching it?
No.
Well, you should watch the first 4 seasons.
But is that going to have an ending which I'm going to be satisfied with?
It's got some episodes that are truly
There were
spectacular.
2 specific episodes in this season which were very, very good.
Yeah.
But it's just what you have to put up with and go through to reach those. It's it's very long and it's very, very dull. And a lot of the times you'll watch an episode and you'll see the end and you're like, I don't really think anything happened.
Yeah.
I jumped between 20 characters, not one of them advanced. It's almost like a drama
That
for
felt,
some of the episodes.
I don't know, maybe it was always like that, but I did feel like this season they were trying to get so much in there and didn't really conclude anything.
Yeah.
Well, they concluded some things, but you know, the kind of general.
And some of the conclusions were very, very just fell flat. The climaxes were so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
As I said, I won't go into spoilers, but there's battles that have been building for a very, very long time, which build to this huge event, and then it just pushes past and just shows you the end of it. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Really? You've been talking, this has been building for seasons.
Yeah.
And then it's just,
episode 8 would have been a really good thing to finish on.
Yes, fantastic. But this is the same thing. They can't just keep throwing in dragons and White Walkers every time it gets a bit dull. I'm getting kind of sick of just them popping up for 5 minutes and everyone going, that episode was amazing. And it's like, no, those 5 minutes were really amazing.
Yeah.
Everything else was a bit...
Anyway, let's move on to reader feedback. Now, this time last week, Luke, myself and Chris did some E3 predictions. We've got an email about those, but I'm going to quickly go through our predictions. And so Chris predicted 3 things. He said that there would be fighting in the IGN war room. I don't think that happened.
I don't think so, no. Everyone seemed very unified.
Was on video anyway.
No.
So.
He said that our sales team would do something that we would either regret or be embarrassed by. Now, I haven't heard anything.
That's probably how
Really?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Don't say what it is.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So 2 of the guys went up onto the Guitar Hero main stage and played against each other. And one of them beat... Well, that's not actually embarrassing.
Okay.
But
anyway, I'm sure they've done stuff.
That's embarrassing.
I'm sure they've done stuff that
I also saw one of our American sales team, in the audience of the Sony conference.
Well, that's not embarrassing.
It's cool though.
Yeah, I know that. Also, Chris predicted. What I'm saying is, so far, Chris has got 1 out of 3. He also said that Sepp Blatter is going to be a playable character in FIFA. That's not true.
That would be amazing.
Luke said that there's going to be a Diablo 3 expansion. I don't think that was announced.
I didn't hear anything, no.
He said that there will be Kingdom Hearts gameplay. Of course there was going to be. That was like the most obvious one ever. So yes, tick for Luke. And the Oculus Rift was going to partner with Xbox. Well, that news actually came out just before E3. So
cheated.
There is a bit of cheating. I said that Last Guardian was going to be shown. Tick for me. I also said that there was going to be a new Fire Emblem. Turns out that was announced before E3. So
brilliant.
I just didn't know. So I'm not going to count that one for me. I also said that Morpheus will come out in spring and it will be £300. They didn't really talk about Morpheus much at all.
That was a very specific guess.
Well, at least I was trying to be...
Yeah, a bit more than there will be Kingdom Hearts.
Some games are coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they didn't... VR did not really play a main focal point at all.
Anyway, so Levon Young writes in from the US of A and says, 3 predictions. Morpheus and Netflix have an exclusive deal. That wasn't announced. I don't know if these are joking. I think they are joking a little bit because Star Wars Force Unleashed 3 will be announced and it will be exclusive to winter 2015. It's coming out in winter 2015. That wasn't announced. And then, exclusive to Microsoft.
Right.
And then Nintendo, an Ice Climbers puzzle game, which will be on your phone, 3DS and Wii U, download only, and is amazing. That wasn't announced either, so...
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Nice try, Levon. Maybe some better suggestions next year. Although, to be fair, we did know better.
No, not at all. Well, I probably would have got 0 out of 3.
Yeah.
Because I would have hopefully said there would be something for Zelda, but... Well, Zelda Wii.
Well, they announced before E3 that there wasn't going to be, so that would have been really stupid.
It's a screenshot so hard.
Okay, next piece of feedback.
This piece of feedback is from Dylan. Dylan Anus Prime. So, cheers for reading out my feedback last week. But I'm asking if you can repair the damage that your name calling has caused to my online career. As a porn star, obviously. Alex, you're not the only one who sees the word anus in my email address.
That's because it's right in the middle.
Even though it obviously riffs on Optimus Prime. I don't know if you know the context of this, Rich.
I do not.
His email is Dylanus Prime, like Optimus Prime, but it looks like Dill Anus Prime.
But because I think it's to do with his gamer tag, but that's got dashes, like Dylan -us -Prime.
Yeah.
When it's all together, all I see
Dill
is
anus.
anus.
Whilst I was playing Destiny the other night, bearing in mind my email is the same-ish as my PS4 gamer tag, someone called out, "Are you the dude who got called an anus on the IGN podcast?"
I didn't call him an anus.
Man.
I just said that I could see anus in his Gmail. I did not call him an anus. And I apologise if that was the way it was taken.
Called himself an anus.
Anyway,
if anything,
change your game tag.
Thanks. Pass that on.
Poor guy. I have an email from Rob here. He said, "Is there any evidence that VR headsets aren't going to be damaging to the eyes? The 3DS has a warning to take a 15-minute break every half an hour when playing in full 3D, and that console was being held 12 to 18 inches away from your face, not 1 inch like the VR headsets."
I'm sure they'll be littered with warnings saying
Too many,
take
probably,
a break.
yeah.
Because like even from the brief time I've played with VR, is that after a short while it's completely disorienting and
Oh yeah, it makes you feel a bit sick.
yeah.
Like for me, like VR is more of like a 5-10 minute experience than a full game.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest obstacle they're going to have to overcome.
Definitely,
is
yeah.
making it something that you could comfortably wear for, an hour plus and be gaming.
So I mean,
but obviously there's no evidence because people really haven't had that much time with
Definitely,
them.
yeah.
But I'm sure it's one of those things that in 10 years time, whatever.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
like the
computer screens now.
vaporizer cigarette things. Like, oh, these are fine to smoke.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, oh, you probably shouldn't do that. It's like, really? Putting funny chemicals in your lungs? No, I didn't realise that.
Yeah. But yes, it's just like computer screens, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
There's evidence that's been showing that computer screens wear your eyes down quicker now. So, of course, any kind of screen that you're staring at for a long time is gonna not be great for your eyes.
Maybe it won't be something that they have to fix on their side. Maybe it would be like a human thing. Like the more we get used to VR, the more we'll adapt.
Like we're getting longer thumbs now as a species.
Right, because we're always
Supposedly.
encouraging each other all the time.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. It's going to be a sword eventually. Well, just imagine, I bet the first human who was in a car was probably like, oh, this is... Or a plane or something was probably like, I can't do this, freaking out.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same kind of thing. We just got to get used to it and build up a tolerance.
Maybe.
Last piece of feedback.
Duck Hunt and hi. This is from Richard Golding. I would like to know if you'd seen The Secret World of Lego, and if so, what do you think? As I know, one of you loves Lego. Keep up the good work. Rich from Brighton.
I did see it, and basically it was a documentary. Did you see it, Rich, or not?
I've recorded it.
Okay.
I've yet to watch it.
So it's a documentary behind the scenes at Lego, talking about how the process goes to get a job at Lego, how they go about building this kind of stuff. And I won't go into too much detail because you're going to watch it, but there was one particular story following this guy in the UK who adores Lego, buys lots of Lego. It wasn't me. I wish it was me. There was one guy there that buys and builds 40 sets a month. I know.
What?
And has to build them in one sitting. So he just bought the Avengers helicarrier thing.
Oh my god.
And he did it in one sitting with his wife. And his wife bought him a music stand so they could have the instructions. Anyway, it's kind of next level Lego stuff. Is he the dad
from the Lego movie? Does he just have a Lego dungeon?
But anyway, this guy, and I won't spoil the end, but they showed the process of getting a job there. And, part of it is just like sending in your ideas. And then if you're accepted for the first part, then you go over to their kind of HQ in Denmark, Billund or wherever it's called. Yeah. And then you're kind of put through live, here's a bunch of bricks, here's a theme, go and build something.
That's cool.
And then it's all these little kind of live things. So, but yeah, gosh, too stressful. I like Lego to chill out and build, and there's something methodical and calming about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do it for a job. But it's worth watching, and it's a good payoff. But it makes you realise that people spend way too much money on this stuff.
Does it really piece everything together? Does the ending have a good build-up?
I'm going to knock your block off. Anyway, and on that note, that is the end of this week's podcast. I think everybody will be back next week. So who knows what you're going to get? A trio of
Should we do our
knows what?
Podcast 286 predictions for who the guests are going to be? Guests? Who the hosts are going to be?
I think.
If you really want
I
to.
think Luke.
Yeah.
I think he'll insist. He'll fight and fight till he's sitting in this chair. Wait, of course it's going to be Luke, Dan, and Gav. Surely.
Who knows?
Tilly, Gav, Alex.
Tilly, Gav, Alex.
To find out, you'll have to tune into next week's podcast. So until then, thanks for listening.
Rory.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.